the sight in the game, cause see the boxing voice.
Shawn Porter, the Boxing Voice, here with Kenny Porter, trainer, the former world champion at 147, still one of the best in the world. Shawn Porter, what's up, Ken?
Yeah, I'm great. Everything's good.
And, this is probably the biggest fight of Shawn's career. They're both from Ohio. Adrien from Cincinnati, Shawn from Cleveland. Everybody's excited for this fight. Is this going to be an easy fight, or is this going to be hell for 12 rounds and Shawn's going to have to pull it out?
No, it's not going to be hell for 12 rounds. I don't see that at all. If it goes a distance, I will be shocked and surprised. I'm sure that Broner's coming 1,000%, but we're coming 10,000%. He thinks he's fast, we're faster. He thinks he's strong, we're stronger. He thinks he's a skillful boxer, we're more skillful at boxing. We just don't do a lot of different things that people expect us to do when they expect us to do it, and that's what makes us successful. So we're going to change a lot of things up. He's not going to get what he expects to get, but he's going to have a lot to deal with.
Now, I remember we talked earlier, and you said, too bad this fight isn't at 147. It could have been for a title. Do you think Adrian's team wanted Shawn to come down to 144 because they're not the most confident about beating him at 47?
Absolutely they did. They wouldn't take the fight unless we came down to 144. They wanted him to come down to 143. You're a former world champion. We have an opportunity to fight for a welterweight world championship belt because Mayweather's giving up the belts, right, and you won't take it because you don't think you can win the fight. So you don't think you can win the fight without getting an advantage. Well, I'm here to tell you right now, the kid is very close to making this weight. Absolutely no problem. Within 30 days of the fight, he was already within 10 pounds of the fight, 9 pounds of the fight weight. He's eating good. He's strong right now. So it's not going to be helpful for them at all,
Obviously, you know the sport. You probably have watched tapes on Adrien. There's the people comment on his technical flaws. They say he's very talented, but that his stance is too wide. His feet are flat. He's not good. But then against Molina, he was moving more. But do you think that against Shawn, even if he tries to box and tries to move, he'll have to revert to his old habits, which is to kind of be flat-footed and stand there with him?
No, I don't think so. I think he's going to move. I think he's going to grab. I think he's going to hold. I think he's going to push. He's going to try to box. He damn sure can't try to bang. He's got some great feet. A lot of people don't know. He's an excellent boxer. He can move. But when you haven't been fighting that way, kind of sort of what you just said, reverting back to that old habit, right, it may happen, but he does have abilities that people don't know about. But it may happen that, he gets back in that position, but it's not necessarily because he wants to. It might be because of the things that Shawn is doing to him.
Like he might have to start going more toe-to-toe because he's got to get Shawn off of him, kind of.
Well, he may, pushing might not work, holding might not work, running might not work, and he might have to fight. So he go to the boxing match and the fight breaks out.
It seems like in his fights, too, he fights in spurts. He won't do much for a minute and then explode with 10 punches and then won't do, he fights in spurts. Shawn, meanwhile, fights 3 minutes of every round. Is that a huge advantage?
That's going to be a bad situation for him to have to try to fight in spurts, because then when he does spurt, we're all over his ass. You know what I mean? When you finally decide that you are, so we were on you before you started. When you finally decide that you are going to get started, we're right there with you. You know what I mean? So that to us is, that's a great situation for us to be in.
Do you recall the Emmanuel Taylor fight with Broner? Taylor, he isn't as talented as Shawn, but he kind of implemented a similar style Shawn usually does and almost won the fight. Do you take anything from that fight or from other fights when breaking down Broner's past fights and trying to take advantage of it?
No, you know what? I've been looking at Broner sparingly, not enough. I'm going to make myself sit down and watch more. Right. But the truth of the matter is I'm not seeing anything. There's really not a lot going on. There's not a lot of combinations that you see that are landing cleanly and backing a guy up and then him taking control. There's not a lot of situations where he's counterpunching and taking control. There's just not a lot going on for me to really sit down and watch. So I'm going to make myself do it. But at this point, I haven't seen anything that stood out.
And, closing up, you showed me a video earlier. He was in the club with Chris Brown, having some champagne, and that's all good and fun, but he's supposed to be in camp. Is that going to bite him in the butt against Shawn, who's never in the club doing that kind of stuff?
Nah, that's going to kick him in the ass. It ain't going to bite him in the butt. That's going to punch him in the nuts.